Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So, you've got your new NB4 Plus and you've got a whole bunch of little bits in box with it and wondering how they all fit or how you'd change them. So, let's bring in for a close-up look, and I'm going to run you through a few modifications you can do to this controller to customise it to be even more comfortable and set it up just how you'd like it. So, let's bring in for a close-up look and see how we get on with this one. So, first off, we have the different triggers, and if you've had a look at yours, you'll notice the medium is the one that's on, and I've seen a bit of confusion about this one that doesn't have a small, medium, large or the two little fins on. So let's start off by showing you what you do with that. So you're going to need a 1.5mm driver. You pull this back, there's a little tiny nut on the back of this. So if you're going to do this over carpet or anything, just be mindful that you've got a little nut that could fall off the back. And don't do this with controller upside down, because if nut falls off, it's going to fall inside your transmitter. So you take out the screw, and then this is the medium one. You'll notice it's got a little fin. If we put them all at the side of each other, you can see they're all slightly different sizes, and it basically alters the gap between here. So if you want to change it for the large one, you put that on, you see you got a much bigger gap. And if you want to go for a small one, because your finger is too small and you've got too much of a gap with your finger, you can put the small one on. Now these are non-adjustable and they will fix in place, but what the third one does, if we put that in and then you just drop the screw in, you might have to put your finger on the little nut on the back just to get it to start the threads. But if you notice on this one, if we leave it loose, because it doesn't have the fin, it's adjustable. So if none of them fit you, you may be better off going for this one, and then all you do is nip the screw up and it'll stop exactly where you put it. So if you put your finger on it, just loosen this screw off slightly. You can close it to where it's comfortable for you, and then just nip that up, and you can have the perfect size grip for yourself. Now for me, I do prefer the medium. I've tried a few of them and that one seems to fit perfect for me. So I find if you just turn it sideways a little bit, it will let you take out the screw. So to put it in, just get the fin in place. You should be able to get your screw lined up, and you'll feel it when it drops into place. And then just tighten it up, don't go crazy with it, but for me, there's just enough wiggle room for my finger on medium, and it does fit really well. Next, you can actually move where this is. So if you've got your hand on your grip but you feel like this is actually too close or too far away, if you get a 2.5mm hex drive and you put it in the front, you'll feel it when it locks in, and if you slowly turn this, hopefully you'll be able to see this is now closing the gap, so it's moved it forward. If you screw it back gently, you can see this gap increasing, and that moves the whole trigger backwards. And there's quite a bit of movement in it. I would just use your fingertips on the screwdriver until you get used to where the end points are, but for this, if you put your finger in, you can tell if it's comfortable for you, if it feels like it's just where your finger rests, and then all you need to do is adjust it till it feels like you can get your full press on brake or reverse, and it just makes it really comfortable for your hand. The next thing you can adjust, and this is same on the NB4 and the Pro as well. Now under here we've got another screw, and if you carefully back this off, this will back the tension off. So you just want to do this with your fingertips, and you'll feel it when it gets all the way to the bottom, but that's got very little tension on it now. And I know I've seen a few reviews where they've said, oh, it feels really weak, it's really light trigger action, but if you tighten that up, you've then got a lot tighter action. You've also got one on the bottom of the steering wheel. So if you can see, we've got quite a bit of tension on this. And then if you just carefully screw it off, you'll see the screw come out the bottom. And then we've got very little tension on it. Now you can also change the actual springs, but I'll cover that in another video because it requires you taking the actual wheel and everything apart. But you can just tune this until it feels exactly how you like it. And then finally, and this is going to be awkward to do on camera because these are awkward to get off anyway, but we can swap out this grip. So I find it easier if you get the back out first, then you work your way down and you pop one side out. Then if you flip it over, you should be able to pop the bottom out, and then you'll get the top out. So this is the standard small grip. So if you feel like you need more room at the back of the transmitter, you can swap it out for the larger one that comes in the pack, and you don't have to clip them on to try them. You can just put it on, grab the transmitter, see if that feels a bit better for you. Now for me, I do prefer the larger grip, so I'm going to be fitting that. But also, while we're at this point, I can show you, if you just flip this up, we've got the new easy to get to compartment for the 18650. And if you ever did need to, you can pop that out and swap it. And then you can just pop that back on. And to refit the grip, I find it easier to get the sort of little tongue in the top into place first. And then you just work your way down one side. And then if you flip it over, should be able to just work the other side in. You've got sort of a little bit where it clips in middle, but the main clips are top and bottom. And then over a bit of time of using it, the grip will settle down and line itself back up. It's only rubber, and I think I had this one squashed a bit. But just a few tips to make it easier to get your controller exactly how you like it. And obviously the wheel is completely movable. You do have angle marks on the bottom, so if you find a position you really like, if it gets knocked or moved, then you can put it exactly back how you like it. I've seen a few people concerned that these might move when you're using it, but in all honesty, I've never ever had one of these move while I've been using the actual transmitter. It's never been a problem. One of the other things that I've seen people getting a little confused about, if you move the phone back, you can see you've got two holes. Now I'll quickly show you what these are for. So if you get the 2.5mm driver and we remove the stock wheel, and this wheel will fit on the NB4 and the Pro. So if we look, we've got the Flysky sort of way of fixing it on, but you've got this mechanism. So let's get this off. So if you see on here, we've got a flat bar with these stops. So basically when that turns, 100% is on them stops. So if I quickly grab the wheel that comes with the Noble Pro, you'll notice on this wheel as well, it has the 2 holes. And what these are for, the Noble Pro wheel comes with 2 grub screws. So if you imagine, if you fit the Noble Pro's adapter, you can tighten them grub screws down to restrict the actual throw of the wheel. Now, if you do want to use this, it does have the holes in the stock wheel for the Noble NB4 Plus, but if you look, if that goes in, the 2 holes line up with these grub screws. So if you do want to adjust it or limit the actual throw, then you'd need one of these adapters, and all it says on the back of this is 32 degrees. So I'm not sure if Flysky are going to be listing these separate, but you can swap and change with all the wheels and all the adapters. But the stock one that comes with the NB4 Plus doesn't have the screws. Now, if you look on the back of it, because I initially thought maybe you could just drill through and put some screws in, but they're not filled. So you'd have to sort of fill these holes with some kind of epoxy, then drill it, thread it, and put your 2 little grub screws in. Or you can just try and source one of these. If I ever do find a link for this, I will put it in the description. But basically, the NB4 Plus and Pro and the normal NB4 all work same. They've all got the same wheel adapters, so you can swap and change wheels if you like. But I do really like the look of the actual wheel that comes with the NB4 Plus. And for me, it's never really been something that I want to do, restrict the actual travel. I know some guys, if you've got limited movement in your wrist or anything, maybe something that you're looking at, but you'd just have to source one of these little adapters with the grub screws in. As I say, the kit also comes with hard and soft springs for the throttle and the wheel. If anybody'd like me to, I can do a video on that, but I've already done one on the Noble Pro for changing the springs. So yeah, you can just watch that video. It's not it's no different to do it on the NB4 Plus, but I think most people will find the actual tuning screws will be enough to get your steering and your throttle at the sort of tension that you'd like. But it is nice that they do come with the extra springs. Really nice that they come with such a lot of choice of actual triggers, and it's nice to be able to adjust the trigger on it as well. As I say, the NB4 and the Pro both work same. All the wheels are interchangeable, and yeah, I just thought I'd do this video, hopefully make your transmitter that bit more customized and comfortable for yourself. So let's wrap this one up. So there you have it, a few more ways to customize and personalize your NB4 Plus. As I say, works exactly the same on NB4 and the Noble Pro. So you guys aren't left out as well. You can do all the same tuning and everything on both those transmitters. I'm only covering it again now because with the sort of high profile drivers racing for Flysky, there's a lot of new people coming to Flysky, and with the release of the NB4 Plus, which is an absolute cracking transmitter, I think for racing it's probably going to give you everything that you'd want. Ultra low latency, customizable, 8 channels. You've got the 2-channel low latency mode, much brighter screen, quite a few more options. There are some things still missing off this that the Pro gets, like customizing the sensor screen. You've got more options on the Pro. You can have 2 features to each button on the Pro, so 2 functions to each one. Really comes into it if you're doing complicated sort of setups for steering and braking and things like that. But yeah, it's a very nice transmitter. Nice to see that they've added the cruise control function as well. Only thing that I find missing from it, and this is why I'd said the Pro is definitely the way to go if you want a crawler with a lot of channels, but a lot of people like to use these as momentary buttons, and as yet there is still only the Pro that natively lets you use these as momentary buttons for running a winch. You can do it on the NB4 Plus and the NB4, but you have to do a complicated channel mixing and you lose one of your channels as an assignable channel, which on a crawler, especially if you're going full scale with winches and multiple lights and you want to be able to control them all, definitely if you're after that functionality, the Pro makes your life a lot easier. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Hopefully you find this useful, entertaining, or you just like listening to my incessant ramblings. But don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.